Hey guys, welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Sister Wives Season 12 review. Go ahead and do me a favor and like the video now. It helps out in the algorithm. Before we get into it, let me know when it comes to this situation with the way Meri was treated during the birth of Axel, if you are Team Meri or if you are Team Sister Wives. Put all devices on do not disturb. Sorry, y'all. Did that work across the board? Because I'm just so professional. And I noticed I was getting messages while I was up here. Okay, anyway, Team Meri or not. It's been 11 days since labor and delivery of Axel, and Meri is sitting there holding Axel, talking to him in the cute little baby voice. As she's doing this, Robin comes in, and Robin lets us know that her kids were sick once again, because they seem to always be sick. So this is the first time that both Ariella and Saul are being able to be around them. Me personally, knowing that they were sick, I would want them to stay away from my child for a little bit longer. But then again, I wouldn't want them around me at all, because Robin and her kids are a pot of festering petri dishes with viruses and stuff in it. I know that didn't come out right. They're just a petri dish, okay? And they got a whole bunch of viruses on them. I don't know what in the world I was saying. But anyways, you all get it. My point is, you're sick. You decide that you're going to come over when your kids are sick, watch me give birth. You don't come back with them until they're well. You mean to tell me that you don't think it may have been a possibility that you might have been carrying various germs over to come and see my baby? This is why when I had my son, a whole bunch of family was not coming over to see him. It did help that they didn't live in town. But for those of them who wanted to, the answer was no, because my baby hadn't got its first set of shots. What do I look like sitting here having my son around you all? I'm just not that person. The bird is making strange faces during this scene, but Solomon is able to hold the baby and he doesn't drop him. We then see the bald eagle hold him, and Janelle is sitting there watching the bald eagle and the family, and she's realizing that all of this is because of him. I think she means Cody in this moment, and if she does, she gives Cody so much credit for the most basic things that sometimes I'm like, Janelle, I wanted more from you. We go from the joys of baby Axel to the catfish situation with Meri. In case you forgot, Meri was catfished. As a result of this catfish, she made a friend by the name of Cheryl, who was also catfished by the same person that she was. Meri calls all the adults over to let them know that Cheryl wants to come and visit. I noticed that whenever Meri has these type of conversations where she calls the adults over for something, that she gets very childlike in her demeanor. And it just makes me uncomfortable watching her speak to them because of how uncomfortable she looks. The bird reminds us that, this situation with the catfish, it affected the entire family, not just Meri, and that they're all feeling the weight of it. She says, I just remember, such heaviness, such a heavy experience with Meri. I was, with wondering if she was leaving and what was wrong with her. It just felt like it was something that she had to worry about all the time. Sabin wasn't concerned about what Meri was doing, if Meri was gonna leave and all that other stuff, because she really genuinely cared about Meri. What she was worried about is if Meri's disappearance happened, then that means that money that was associated and connected to Meri would most likely disappear too, because unlike Robin, Meri has another source of income other than this show. She's telling them that Cheryl will be staying at her house during the visit and is also planning on bringing her daughter for the trip, and that Cheryl would like to meet the family if they're willing. Meri is also hoping that Cheryl's daughter will bond with Leon. And I'm like, okay, Meri, I don't know if this is a good idea because Leon just started talking to you. And Leon has made it clear on multiple occasions that they really don't want to discuss the catfish stuff. They're kind of over it. They don't want to deal with all of that. And I would think that they wouldn't want to deal with this random person either. Meri lets us know that unless we were in it, we wouldn't get it and we wouldn't understand the bond that they have because they went through this, and that her family doesn't get it as well. Everyone is looking at her as she's talking because they were waiting for another ball to drop because they all got summoned over for this when this could have been a text message or a phone call or something of that nature. You barely come to her house. It doesn't matter. What is a couple seconds, or what did it matter if she came or not? If they said no, what were you going to do? You pay your own bills. What? Tell her to meet you at the hotel? I mean, anyways, the sister wives decide to joke about this situation. Christine asks her if Cheryl is real. And she says, I'm just glad, she's a real person. Everybody giggles. I get that they all thought that the comment was funny. But given that this situation happened and that Meri still seems to be on the outs, and Meri still hasn't received her love back from her husband and still feels awkward at times with the family, I don't think that that was really a great idea. They have a tendency to laugh at things in the moment and then they reflect on it afterwards, which is exactly what Meri did. You then hear the birds say, you guys were kind of like sister wives, right? You had a relationship with the same man, and they laugh about it. But Cody looks uncomfortable and he doesn't want to be a part of the situation, while the sister wives, including Meri, keep laughing. But then Meri tells us in confessional, it's good that they're laughing and that they can joke about it now. But part of me wonders if they're laughing because they're over it, or if they're laughing as a way to try to get through it. And I feel like it's to try to get through it. I don't think that they ever got over this catfish situation, but you all let me know what you think. I also don't think that bringing this friend around was a good idea. It's party time and the Brown family gathers together for a barbecue. As soon as they said that they were doing a barbecue, I was like, oh Lord, please don't let Cody be on the grill, because every time he burns up the food. But this time, I don't know if he got help or what, but he didn't burn up the food. Everyone is there. We see Mykelti and Tony. We see Leon and Audrey. We see Aspen and Mitch. So we get to meet Aspen's man, his little boo thing, her little boo thing, and his name is Mitch. There are multiple people in the kitchen at this time, but the bird walks in and in the most awkward way she possibly can says, who are you? Who are you? Like, is there a word for what you are, who you are? And she says, Mitch is my boyfriend. And then Robin says, this is Aspen's boyfriend. I want to know if the producers told her to do that or if she was trying to be funny in the moment, because either way, it was very cringy to me. I was sitting there like, oh no, this is what we're doing? Oh, please don't do that, please. We find out that Mitch's family were also polygamous. He, however, didn't agree with some of the things that he saw and some of what was going on, so he did leave. Aspen has known him for over 10 years, and she had a crush on him even back then, but she paid a little bit more attention to him, during the move. The bird tells us that when the family was escaping Utah, Mitch and some of the other brothers helped them move. They like him already because they know him. Tony then points out that Christine likes Mitch, who is an old family friend, much better than she liked him. I would too. Mitch looks clean. Mitch looks like he's taking a bath. Mitch looks like he's the polar opposite of Cody. And given the way that Cody acts and the way that Tony acts and seeing how similar they are, I think that Mitch is a breath of fresh air. Christine says Mitch was presented to the family differently than Tony. When I was told about Mitch, it was like a schoolgirl crush, a schoolgirl who likes this guy and I'm being told about it. When I was told about Tony, I didn't even know that he was something serious. Mykelti brought a group of friends over and Tony was a part of that group. Tony is like Cody in many ways. And I think that he has never forgiven Christine for not getting the welcoming, the I don't know, the birds flying in the air, the fireworks going off, the claps and applause, the thunderous excitement as he decided he wanted to marry her daughter, and the open arms that he wanted, because he seems to, at this point, still not have let it go. For whatever reason, Christine uses this time to then tell everybody about her Isabel and her scoliosis, and how at the beginning of the boot camp that she went to for those 2 weeks, according to their equipment, she was 45 degrees. She had a 45 degree curvature. As soon as she was talking, I was like, I feel like this is a jip, because the doctor said that it was 40. Like, he took out his little measurement thing and everything. But we're going to go off of this other guy that we just met and believe it was 45. And now at the end, she is down to a 35 degree curve. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying miracles don't happen, but that is a significant decrease in curvature. That's 10 degrees in 2 weeks. Maybe I'm a skeptic. You all let me know what you think. Cody lets us know that he does not want Isabel to do surgery. There is no shocker there. He's going to exploit every other option before surgery. His words, not mine. Every other option before surgery, because it's not a guarantee that the surgery will work, just like it's not a guarantee that these exercises will work. But Christine says that there is a guarantee, despite all of this, that she'll be a better person. It's easy to say that when you're not going through it, but I get it. Time for a trip. So Meri, Leon, and Audrey go to Seattle because this is where Leon wanted to go for a long time. TLC is doing their best to find the most stereotypical activities, in my opinion, to do on camera, as Meri talks about how they're just embracing their gay right now. We see them do different activities, and Audrey and Leon pose on a rainbow crosswalk, and they talk about how they want to roll in it, and they're just having a good time. We see them go on a Ferris wheel, things of that nature, as they walk the streets of Seattle. Meri speaks about how comfortable the two of them are with each other, and how she likes to see how supportive they are of one another. And as you're watching them and you see them walking through the streets holding hands and things of that nature, I did sit there and look at them. It's like, I just love love. Like, I don't care. It's not my situation. I know what I like. Y'all like what you like. One of the things that I like is love. And I just love seeing Leon be in love. So we are reminded at how upset Leon was about the whole catfish thing. Meri talks about how dark things were and what was going on. I really wish that Meri would come out with a book, one where she is truly honest about the ins and outs of what happened, one where she tells us exactly what happened, because Meri lost a lot of, people stopped having empathy for Meri when the whole thing came out, because we all feel like Meri is lying, and she still hasn't come out and said the truth. You've already lost your family at this point, so you might as well come out and tell us the truth. It will make you money. It will clear things up, and you can bury Cody while you do it, because we know Cody hates when you tell his truth. Anyways, they go to get dinner. She waits until they are there because she wants to bring up Cheryl and the daughter and the catfish situation. We're reminded again about the mental torment that the catfish caused Meri, about the abuse, about the anger and the resentment that Leon has as a result. I hate when Meri acts like she was a victim of the catfish. It's very much so Meri's fault that Meri was in this situation, and the catfish did what they did, but Meri did some things as well. Go down and type in Meri and the catfish conversations, and the voicemails and things of that nature that Meri was leaving. Meri was very much so deep in it with this person that she thought was a man. Meri was going to leave. Meri asks Leon if they will come down and meet Cheryl and this daughter. Meri says she feels like this will help Leon move past things and really be able to heal. But I don't think it was all about Leon in that moment. I think that Meri needed Leon to move past it because Meri was unhappy, and Meri felt like if Leon moved past this and she was able to see Leon move past it, that maybe some of that guilt would decrease and maybe Leon and Meri could redeem their relationship. Meri is the one who wanted someone to understand where she was coming from. And with this daughter have experienced it, I think that Meri thought that Leon, sorry, talking to this person's daughter would help Leon understand how that person's daughter dealt with it. But it's a different situation because it's not about the catfish so much. It's about the fact, Meri, that you were married. That kind of changes the dynamics. Even though you were married to a jerk and a guy who you weren't actively married to, yeah. So Leon looks very uncomfortable in talking about this incident. Meri is sitting there and Leon's like, look, I've moved on from this. I really don't want to talk about it. That alone should have been enough. But of course, Meri's going to keep trying. Leon said, I'm worried about the feelings that I had, those really, really angry feelings coming back up. And I feel like that's understandable. Audrey says that they feel like it would be a good idea and that both of them need to address some of these things. Take a really deep breath and pause, because even though they love each other, there's still a lot of tension there when it comes to certain things. And I'm saying to myself, if Audrey has realized this in the few times that they've been around them, then that means that tension was really thick. Leon clearly doesn't want to do it, but Leon agrees that they will, but they have a condition, which is they want Meri to go to this gay bar with them and Audrey. Meri at the time looks like a deer in headlights. She said that she doesn't really drink and that, do gay people she says, do people who aren't gay go to gay bars? And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I went to a few of them when I was in my 20s. Let's get it straight though. I was with my friends. I like men, but I had a ball, and it was great to be in an establishment where I wasn't getting hit on left and right. Wait a second. Why didn't they hit on me? I was cute. I just thought about that. I never got hit on it. The things I think about. Leon knows that going to this bar, in my opinion, will make Meri uncomfortable. But Leon asks, and Meri's so desperate to get Leon back and be in Leon's good graces that I feel like Meri would have done almost anything to make Leon feel like, I want to be on your good side. So Meri agrees to go to the bar. As they get to the bar, she surprises all of us. Meri goes wild. Meri orders a Diet Coke. I was like, Meri, you couldn't even just get a Coke? You had to put a Diet Coke in there? She ends up having a good time as they play old school games, and she gets to know this couple and see them as a couple. And she says the unicorn bar visit made her kind of reflective on, things with their child. And despite feeling too old, Meri is enjoying herself. And I think that it was cool that they were able to have this moment. I remember the first time I ever had a drink with my father, and my father very rarely, I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've seen my father drink. But for my 21st birthday, not on my birthday, but when my dad came in town to celebrate, my father took me to a bar and he let me order a drink. He said, order our drinks and I'll drink it with you. I didn't know anything for real about bar drinks, because when I was drinking, like I was mixing vodka with stuff like Hawaiian punch. Dumbest decision ever. But these were the things that we did, stupid stuff in college. So I got a strawberry daiquiri with my dad. That was my first like legal drink with him. And I remember that moment and the nostalgia of it. And it just felt good to hang out with my dad in that capacity. So I can only imagine, you know, how that felt for Meri, and even how that felt for Leon and Audrey to have Meri be willing to do that. Meri is sitting there and Meri is talking in the confessional, and Meri is like, I'm realizing while I'm watching my child and I'm thinking about my child and the ideas that I have for my child, and I'm realizing that it's not about me, it's about Leon. I had a vision of how I thought Leon's life was supposed to be, but it's not about me. And I was like, come on here, Meri, like you're getting it. I like this, Meri. All right. I labeled this section drama, because this whole situation is beyond me. If I leave something out, it is because I cannot understand how these grown behind women sit here and go back and forth about every little thing. If you were offended by Meri not being there, then one of the 20 times that you came out and to talk to the cameras, why didn't you call Meri? All the adults. That's my question. I don't even like Meri most of the time, but in this situation, I can see why Meri's feelings were hurt. I told you all to let me know your opinions. I'm gonna kind of give you mine, right? So the sister wives apparently have been getting into it about Maddie's labor and the birthing process. Things have gotten so bad that they had to see their family therapist about it a few times. So this is Nancy getting a check once again for doing absolutely nothing to rectify the situation. Because why have they come to you multiple times off camera to discuss this situation when you could have nipped it in the bud the first time? If they come an hour at a time, charge them for 2 and do it all in one session, because you have a tendency to see these people and, in my opinion, not rectify the situation. So apparently, they've already had a few sessions over this same issue. All the other wives were there for the birth of Axel. Even Robin was there, even though she supposedly had 2 sick kids at her house. So she could have been there, but she was there, okay? Meri was not. We don't really get to know how this crap started, if Meri messaged them first and complained or what. But from what we can gather, Meri is mad that no one called her to let her know that Madison was giving birth. Janelle says, I'm trying to be rational, but my mama bear is uncaged and it's coming out. This is about my daughter. She's giving birth. This is not about us. So I feel like this is idiotic, and that we shouldn't be dealing with this because it's supposed to be about the birth. And at first, I felt that way too. I felt like, okay, Meri, what are you doing? Why are you causing drama again? Because this is not about you. This is about the situation with Maddie, and you're making it about you, until I kind of heard a little bit more. But let me keep going. So Janelle is pissed. I mean, she is pissed. that... My notes have pissed like SSSSSSEEED. So she's pissed that Meri left and didn't witness the birth of baby Axel. And as she's saying it, I'm like, what do you want from her at this point? It was said from the very beginning of the previous episode that Maddie only wanted it to be Caleb and the midwife in there. Did you all call or did you all text Meri and let her know that the plans had changed? If you didn't, shut up and apologize. Simple as that. And for real, I don't even feel like Janelle needs to do it. I feel like one of the other, I don't know, sister wives could have done it. Especially because later on in the episode, we hear that at various points of the birth, they thought about Meri, but nobody texted her. But I'm going to get into it because I'm calling these people out. So Meri missed the birth, even though Robin and Christine had front row seats. She was the only brown adult not in attendance because Cody was in there too. We heard him last one telling her to push, and telling us how he got in her face and how he went from not being in there to being in there. He did it. They all had a plan. And the plan was for them to be in that room. Okay. But apparently they didn't include Meri in on that plan. So she wasn't there to see the baby born. She did, however, keep coming back to check on Maddie, as we saw in the previous footage from last episode. And they showed us even more in this one. I don't understand why when she went in that one time, production couldn't let her know that some of the family was in the back. I don't understand why one of the other mothers didn't call her. I don't understand why one of the other kids who were hanging around in the bathroom when it started picking up, and they said in the footage, this is when it started picking up, and they show us 6 o'clock, while Savannah or Brianna or one of them couldn't go over to the house and let Meri know. Because as I said, there were other people, other adults who could have alerted her. They start the session and Janelle wastes no time going in, okay? She tells her that, you say we don't include you, but we text you to come here, and we tell you, Meri, come here, and we tell you, Meri, come here. And if there's any little hiccup or barrier, then you shut down and you go away. And Meri says, when you all invite me to come somewhere, I come. We then see that they asked the cameras to leave because Maddie was tired. So the cameras walk out and you see the ground outside, right? Because they're standing outside and they're still mic'd up. Meri sat there and she saw nothing was really going on. So the cameras are gone and we see on the caption, but the cameras outside of the door filming the floor, we see what is being said and we could hear what's being said, right? So she says, Meri does, I told my people I was going to do a sale. So I better get over there and do that. Janelle says, yeah, you have time the way that it's going. Meri says, I mean, you don't want us to stay here anyway, do you, while you're... And Madison says, oh, in transition, everyone's getting kicked out. I heard that. In transition, meaning when her contractions and stuff get rough, when the baby's crowning, when she's in that space where it's too painful, they're all getting kicked out. So she says, okay, just keep me posted. Let me know if I need to come over or do anything or whatever. In other words, let me know when you're ready for me to come back over here. After Meri leaves, Janelle tells us all of a sudden things really got serious. I call bull because that was at 6 o'clock. At 9 something, she was still pushing. I don't think she had the baby till like 11 or 12. So they had time in between, but we're going to say it, okay? All of a sudden, things got really serious. That was at 6 something. You see Janelle, this is after 6. Janelle's mom, Robin, Christine, Savannah, Brianna, all in the bathroom watching this. Y'all remember, Cody went and got chairs. So Cody could leave out the house to go get folding chairs, but Cody couldn't text Meri and let Meri know it was getting serious. You see what I'm saying? No one calls Meri. No one texts Meri. In the last episode, you heard Caleb say that he was uncomfortable with this situation because he thought that when it got to this point, it was just going to be him and his wife and the midwife. So Meri was the only one truly respecting what originally was said. I said this in my last review. But Christine and them felt that they weren't going to leave until they got kicked out because, in my opinion, they were very excited and also very entitled. I'm just going to call it like I see it. You all feel free to disagree with me down below in the comments. At 9 something, things were still serious. You're forgetting that they had various, well, not you all, but they're forgetting that they had various timestamps in the other episode. I can't remember them, and I didn't feel like going back to them. But they had various timestamps in the episode to show us where she was when she kept going from in the bathroom to in the bedroom and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. You even see where they stopped and they were eating. And as they're eating, Desi, who is Maddie's best friend, comes running out to get Kayla because she thought it was getting serious. So even at that time, someone could have texted or called Meri to let her know, but no one did. Meri says, "This is the same thing that happens all the time, and I'm constantly being left out." Janelle claims that she's being left out because Meri purposely keeps her distance because Meri is still standoffish. Meri says, "I was unaware that all of you all were in the bedroom. It's not that I'm doing it on purpose." Janelle says, "Where else where we would be, Meri? She's giving birth. Where would we be?" And I'll answer that for Meri. She thought everybody went home. The last thing that she was told was that when it starts happening, that Maddie is going to kick everyone out. So if she comes in and a house that previously had a whole plethora of people around and things of that nature is now quiet and the bedroom is closed and she feels like y'all aren't like that, of course she's going to think that y'all are gone. At 9, Maddie was told by the midwife to try to get some sleep. They all left, the moms included. At 9:20, Meri came over and she was told nothing was going on. Then Janelle says, "So all of a sudden, as soon as Meri left, we got called back into the room because things were progressing." That was at 10:02. We saw a shot and both Robin and Christine were already there. Meri comes back and at this time the door is shut, as I said, and she is with Leon and Audrey. And they're like, "Where's everybody?" And she's like, "I don't know." Production could have easily said they're back there, but she looks down the hallway, sees that Janelle's bedroom door is closed, and she says, "Okay, we'll just, come back after they call," because to Meri's thoughts, her labor is progressing. Christine says, "We were in a separate world and no one was going to look up and say, 'Let's get Meri in here because it's not my birth.'" But Christine was lying because Christine said something completely different later on. I personally feel like that is an excuse. They were not worried about getting Meri in there because they really didn't want her in there. And if you don't want somebody there and you look up and you don't see them, you're just going to be fine that they're not there. If you really wanted her there, you would have looked up and called her, texted her or something. Y'all weren't the ones that were pushing the baby out. Christine says, "I didn't want to be kicked out. And if Maddie realizes that we're inviting more people in there, then she might be like, 'This is too much. This is too many people and I need everybody out.'" So Christine lied, and Christine is selfish too. Because you realized it, but you didn't want to be left out. Because if she cared a lot about Meri, then she would have thought, this is going to hurt Meri. This is going to hurt a person that already feels isolated and doesn't feel like she's a part of a lot of these different processes. She's already not getting attention from her husband. So let's try to include her in this. But Christine didn't care. She said herself she didn't want to be kicked out, and inviting Meri may have gotten her kicked out. But she's not the only one. Because Robin did the same thing. So Meri says she's kind of over this. Janelle says, "Meri's quick to label, this emotion that I'm feeling as me being defensive," because she told her that she's getting a little defensive. And she says, "But I'm not being defensive. I'm frustrated and I'm communicating intensely. And you're pissed. And you're passive aggressive." And I'm not saying that Janelle doesn't have every right to feel that way, because after all, we're sitting here talking about this when we should be talking about, the grandchild and the experience period, not what happened after Meri. But don't make it seem like Meri doesn't have a reason to feel the way that she feels, and that it's it's not legitimate. Because if the roles were reversed, and if Meri was speaking in this instance to Janelle the way that Janelle was speaking to Meri, she would have shut down and she would have said that Meri was being too aggressive. Meri says, I'm not mad at Maddie for not calling, but I am angry with the other adults because none of them stopped to text me or think to tell me to come over. She says, Cody even texted everyone and told them to stay away from Janelle's bedroom for a while. So apparently at that time, Maddie was delivering the placenta, which meant she was already delivering the baby. So they're still in the room while the placenta is being delivered. And he can send a group text for that because a lot of them already knew that she was having the baby, but you didn't text Meri to let Meri know that she had the baby. Janelle says she took the text weird in a weird tone, and it wasn't meant for her. It was meant for the kids. If it was meant for the kids, then why was Meri in the text? Then she states that perhaps Meri's strained relationship with Cody is what caused her to misinterpret the text. And I don't feel like that's the truth. Robin says, I know that at a point, Cody was like, none of the kids need to be coming over here. Christine says, none of us got that text. We had already left that text. Yeah, because y'all were already in there. Robin says, Madison is the one who eventually said, like, why isn't, Meri here? Why isn't she here? Tell her to come over. So that's when Robin decided to text her to tell her it was okay. By the time Meri gets there, not only is everybody back in the room, but the cameras are in the room too. So y'all sent the camera people away, but you all let the cameramen know to come back in the room before you even text Meri, who's right next door. You can't make this crap up. She's not there because every last one of those adults, in my opinion, were being inconsiderate of her feelings. I understand that labor and delivery is intense and all of that stuff, but the moment that those adults saw that they were able to stay, they should have let Meri know. She said that when I came in and I saw that they were all there already, I had felt hurt. And I couldn't understand why none of them could say, wait, an important piece of the puzzle is missing. And I understand why. It's because at this point, Meri, you're no longer important. Janelle tells us that the core of plural family is a sister-wife relationship, that this birthing experience with Maddie allowed them all to unite even more. And she's sad that Meri wasn't there. I call bull on that. I just feel like y'all all dropped the ball. The therapist tells the sister wives that they need some lighthearted, fun time. So she suggests that they do lunch together. No, Nancy. No, Nancy. How about you do your job and you actually call people out on the areas where they went wrong and give them a way to better navigate this type of situation in the future? What is the point of a therapist that doesn't hold you accountable? The moment that my therapist stops calling me out on my crap is the moment that I need a new therapist. Because I'm not paying you to coddle me. I can have my friends coddle me. I can have my family coddle me, which they won't. I'm just saying. I'm not paying you to do it. Meri begins to cry while they're talking, because Christine's talking about how, there are rough parts, but it gets better and all this other stuff. And she's crying because she's thinking about Cody. And Nancy's dumbtail comes in and says, they can't fix that situation with Cody, but they can be sympathetic. What the bleep? Bleep, 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 bleep. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It isn't normal for people to be married this long and go without affection from their loved one. It isn't normal for people to sit there and say, oh, we accomplished something because we rode in the car together. Why would she want to confide in her sister wives who are having a great time when she's having an awful one and they don't even like her? You then have the bird. Back when Meri was going through the catfish and I was being fed lies that she was leaving us, and she sounded like she was leaving us, and from the weird way she was talking to us, and I really had to think about what it would be like without her. It made me panic. First of all, from what I gather, from what you all said in the comments and what I've seen online, people are saying that Robin had something to do with the catfish. Second of all, you're only panicking because you weren't going to have Meri's income, because at this point, she's the second largest income compared to Janelle. And I don't know when it switched, because we don't even know how Janelle's doing with her real estate stuff. But we know that Meri's business was thriving. So the wives decide that they're going to go to this lakeside restaurant. It's awkward. I don't care about this part, you know. We get the bird again. She's just been distant and confused for a couple of years, and I'm tired of her not being with us. I'm tired of her questioning our motives. I'm tired, and I'm just sick of this, and I don't feel like there's anything I can do to fix it because I'm trying. How can she say all of this when she goes to bed every other night with that molting bird that lays beside her, and she knows that he doesn't want Meri? Why don't you understand why she's where she is? So we see them go to lunch by the lake. Janelle is dreading it because she hates the small talk. Christine says, "We always talk business. Let's catch up." And it's crickets. Christine says, "Is there anything anyone wants to share?" And it's crickets. And then the bird goes, oh, I got a new piece. It says, always in my heart. You see it? And it's dedicated to dating. And I said, yet another ugly piece of jewelry. That woman loves putting together oogly pieces, and she wants us to like those oogly pieces too. Christine then brings up the sister wives closet. Who cares about that crap? And she apologizes to her for not wanting to be a part of the money pit. Meri said there was a time where Robin and I worked together well on that, and I enjoyed it, and then things changed. And Robin says they changed when Meri decided that she wanted to go back to school because she felt ditched. That doesn't explain what happened, because did Meri go back to school? Am I missing something here? Did I miss something? Watching these ladies at lunch, it was clear that they aren't friends. I had more conversation today at my friend's brunch for her graduation stuff with people that I didn't even know than these people who have been with each other for years at this point did. Later, Christine asked Meri to come over to the house so they could talk. They sit down, and Christine digs into Meri. I was annoyed with the clip that they showed of this at first, but I felt like this was the most honest moment that I've seen with any of the adults in this family. I'm gonna miss out on some things. Y'all put what I missed that you want to talk about down below. So Christine says, "I think you not being there for the birth was awful. This is not Maddie's opinion. It's my opinion. I don't think she should have said this because it kind of set the tone for Meri to be defensive, but I get where she was going with it." She says, "Going into the labor, Robin asked a couple of times, should we get you? And I wasn't going to say anything because it's not my labor." Who did Robin ask? Robin had that statement to Meri? Because when she said it, why y'all didn't just text her? How was that supposed to make her feel better? So right there, you know her defense is going to be up a little bit. She says, and I have to be honest, I wouldn't have had you come. My thing is, you bring a lot of baggage when you come in the room, and I don't know what to do with it. You come in with bristles a lot, and I don't know if anybody else was thinking that. I don't think so, because it happened naturally, but I just wanted to be honest with you that I was thinking that. Meri doesn't take it well. Christina's talking about how, if it was her, she wouldn't feel safe. But Christina needed to leave that part out of it, because all you needed to say was, how do we make sure that next time we call you? Because you were she was all over the place. Meri says Christina obviously has a lot going on in her head, and I know that she wants to say more. Christina admits to not knowing how to deal with Meri if something's wrong with her. And I'm just like, how bad is Meri really that y'all keep saying this? Like, what does Meri do? Does Meri fight you? Meri says, I'm not gonna let you tell me what my feelings were. I have my own feelings about it, and being courteous to Madison and to Janelle. They are throwing around so many therapy terms that it's hard to watch. Everyone is talking about feeling safe and being guarded and throwing up walls and blah, 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 blah. Bottom line is, they all feel uncomfortable around Meri because they know that Meri is miserable. But Meri is also hurt, and Meri is also depressed, and Meri is lonely, and she's tired, and it's obvious that she feels defeated. Stop acting like this is an angry woman that y'all just have to tolerate when there's a lot more that got Meri to this point. You say that you don't feel safe around her. Y'all aren't safe around her either because y'all sit there and y'all listen to what that bald-headed man talks and says, because he causes a lot of confusion, or because y'all aren't doing anything to rectify the situation except keep talking about it. I did not mean for this video to be this long. So y'all hear him talk about her, and you know he does, and you don't say anything. Just like that time where we saw how he was talking to Christine, and none of the wives said anything about that. Meri gets defensive, tells her that she's comfortable with other people and she doesn't have issues with them, and that this conversation is coming off like you just want to tell her that she's not safe and you don't want to be around her. Christine clarifies and says, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't want what happened at Axel's birth to happen again. She's all over the place. Meri said, Christine doesn't trust me. I don't think a lot of people in my family do. They do have a reason not to trust you with the whole catfish thing. They go back and forth, and it's all confusing because of the delivery. Christine says, you don't feel loved and you don't feel accepted, and that's why you're guarded. Meri says, yes, basically. She goes, I didn't mean for this to be accusatory at all. What can I do, Meri, to make you feel more safe? And Meri admits that she doesn't know, that she doesn't feel like they're friends, and that her family judges her. And they go back and forth a lot. Christine says it's probably easier with her friends because her friends don't come and have to deal with her baggage. I'm sure they do, but I feel like they actually like her. She calls Christine out on not spending time with her, says we haven't had a relationship like we used to for over 10 years, and that it doesn't seem like you want to work on things. Christine said in the past that's true, but here she is. So she's obviously trying to do something. Christine says, I want to have fun and I want it to be safe. Why would I sit here and talk if I didn't want to? I don't want you to be guarded anymore. Bottom line, these people aren't friends, and they haven't been for a long time. She gets up to leave. Christine stops her and goes in for a hug. They end up holding one another while Meri is crying, and it appears that Meri may have actually been touched in this moment by Christine, but how long is it going to last? Christine wants Meri to feel happy and in the family again, and wants to have a good relationship with her. After that, we see Meri go. She makes an offer at the bread and breakfast in Utah. Good for her. She does not know how she's going to make it work, though, because she has yet to tell the family that she's doing this. And that was the end. I think that Meri legitimately does love the kids and that jacked up family. I think that Christine's heart was in the right place when she had that talk. But because of how the conversation went in the beginning, that the defenses were up. It started off so badly. You can't say I wouldn't have invited you because you're not safe and just keep digging a hole deeper and deeper and then try to backtrack. It doesn't work. I don't want to feel this way with you. I want you to be included in the family, yada, yada, go. What can we do to make this situation work in the future? Maybe start there. You all, tell me what you think. Do you think that any of the sister wives were wrong? Because maybe I'm wrong. But in my opinion, no, let me not say but, because that negates it. In my opinion, I feel like Meri did make this thing bigger than it had to be. However, I also feel like Meri had a reason to feel like she wasn't being included and that she did have a reason to be hurt about being left out. But you all tell me your thoughts down below. Like the video if you haven't done so already. It helps the channel. Until next time.